we are again. Y'all are still alive? Everybody still alive? Y'all ain't going to sleep on me? All right. How's Luke doing? Luke, you okay? You didn't hold your hand during lunch, did you, Luke? You don't do it on school ground. You can hold hands outside the parking lot, but not in here. Okay. You got that, Luke? Okay. All right. Will y'all be watching Luke for me? Keep going, Luke. Keep going, Luke. Okay. So, if you want to know what's real, you got to ask small children. I was over with the little brats a minute ago, the little bitty ones. Man, them kids are hilarious. They are crazy. They're like going wild and crazy and grabbing each other and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, we're back in high school. So this guy wanted to know the truth. And so my mom told me, don't chew gum in public, right? You can't do that. I'm going to put it away. Okay, turn around so you won't. See, there you go. Thank you, Joe. They have good manners. Good. Mom will be happy. So this guy wants to know the truth about stuff. So he goes all over the country. He's a Harvard guy. And he has 10,000 small children questions because he wants to know what's real. Adults will lie too, but little kids, they just tell you the truth. And so he asks all these kids. It's called Growing Up Isn't Hard to Do If You Start Out as a Kid. So I love small children. I got 13 grandkids. They're little brats. They call me Pops. I cook for them. I clean. Like Pops, what's for breakfast? Pops, what's for lunch? Pops, what's for supper? I love it. So he says, so exactly what is marriage? You listen, Luke? Eric says, Eric is 6. Marriage is when you get to keep your girl and don't have to give her back to her parents. Pretty good insight. Remember that, Luke? Sandy says, I don't want to get married even though I'm already 9. You're never alone and your wife follows you around all the time. Not so much, Sandy, but kids are naive too. Jan says, marriage is when a boy and girl play kissy. It's okay to play kissy if you're married. If you're not, you won't get arrested. You'll get in a lot of trouble. Okay. If you're married. Okay. How does a person decide who to marry? Good question for small children. How do you decide who to marry? Callie says you flip a nickel, and heads means you stay with him, and tails means you try the next one. Here's what Alan says. Alan is 10. Now, boys, don't get any stupid ideas because this ain't the way it is. But he's just 10. He's stupid. Alan says at age 10, how do you decide who to marry? He says, girls, don't get mad at me. I'm just reading the book. He says, because you got to find somebody who likes the same stuff. Like, if you like sports, she should like it that you like sports, and she should keep the chips and dips coming. The ladies are like, okay. Hey, teachers, lady teachers, I'm not giving up. I'm just reading the book. So the 4th graders back in Branson where I live, they want me to come over and speak to the 4th graders. I go, fine, I'll go over there. What do you want me to do? They said, we want you to talk about drugs and alcohol. I said, really, in 4th grade? They said, yeah. I said, okay. So I go over, I do magic tricks. So I go over, I do this stuff, little talk, and all the 4th graders, they all pile in one room. All the 4th graders who were like stuck. And so I do this deal about drugs and alcohol. So all the kids write me letters. 4th grade is like age 10. First one is Jennifer. Dear Mr. White, I love your speech you gave us. I will never, ever take drugs because drugs are very, very, very bad for you. Here's a picture that I made, say no to drugs. Age 10. Life is very simple when you're 10. Here is cute little Brenda. She's got one of those knot signs with a cigarette. She says, I really like your speech and the magic, and I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to take drugs because they're very bad for you. Love, Brenda. At age 10, y'all, life is simple, right? Jessica. Dear Mr. White, thank you for your talk about drugs and alcohol. A-C-H-O-O-L. We're from Branson. We don't spell there. I really learned a lot. I will never take any kind of drugs or alcohol. No matter what people say. Now, little boys and little girls are very different. Here's a letter from Ryan. He's a little boy. Dear Mr. White, I want to thank you for coming today because it was more fun than doing math and listening to the teacher talk. He's 10. We got the little brats in here now. I love y'all. Dear Mr. White, this is Jared. Here's Jared. He's a 10-year-old boy. Dear Mr. White, thank you for coming to the classroom. Your tricks look great. I really don't want to try drugs. They're stupid. Here's Gaylord. Dear Mr. White, whatever. I like the ache, A-I-K. I have no idea to this day what an ache is. I like the ache, and it was real good, and it was very good, and it was neat, and I like it a lot. It was good, and I liked it, and I liked the match tricks, and I like it a lot. Say no to drugs, Gaylord. Now, 2 years later, where's my 6th grade friends? 7th grade friends. 6th grade? 6th. 7th. Hey, gang. Something happens between 4th grade and 6th grade. I have no idea what it is. A friend of mine goes across the same school, 2 years later, same children, now they're in 6th grade. Y'all remember 6th grade? And so these kids read this book I wrote called Pure Excitement, and so they write me this letter. Dear Mr. White, this is y'all 6th grade. This is like age what, 12 or 10 or 12, yeah. My teacher told me I had to write you this stupid letter. I don't know anything about you, and you don't know anything about me, so we really don't have much to say to each other, do we? What happens to you all when you go from 10 to 12? What? I have no idea. Here's 6th grader, Stacy. Dear Mr. White, how are you today? I'm doing fine. The boy Kevin I like asked my best friend to ask me if I could go out with him. And so I told my best friend Bree to tell his best friend to tell him. I said yes. I'm really embarrassed to talk to him though, but I think he's really cute. My daughter is in 6th grade. She goes out with Ross 3 times and they break up 3 times. So she doesn't tell me. So at the end of the year she goes, Dad, I have to tell you something. I go, what? She said, I went out with Ross 3 times, I broke up 3 times. I said, whoa. I said, you're all busy this year. How do you go out? She said, well, he tells his best friend to tell your best friend to ask you to go out. And you tell your best friend to tell his best friend to tell him yes. I said, how do you break up? She said, well, he tells his best friend to tell your best friend to tell you we broke up. And you tell your best friend to tell his best friend you don't care anyway, and you're broke up. And I said, you ever talk to him? No. I said, no. You've gone out 3 times, broke up 3 times, you never talk? No. I said, why don't you talk? He goes, because he thinks you like him if you talk. Hopefully by 7th grade, you got that all straightened out. Life is not hard if you start out as a kid. But you know what, high school, junior high, some of y'all are sitting out there going like me when I was your age, going, you know what, life is hard. It is. Darn, for me, when I was in junior high school, life was hard. I mean, there's so many voices playing in your head. And I've talked to y'all some between some of my talks, and I get it. Man, I remember it well. When so many people are telling you so many things to do, boyfriends tell what to do, girlfriends tell what to do, parents tell what to do, siblings tell what to do, friends, peers, television, social media, and you're like, freaking what in the world am I hearing? It's a lot like this.
I'm starting to question all of it, Francis. What are we doing this for?
There's only a few things I really care about in life.
Deep down, you're not a monster.
I want to be born with the grades. This is why I don't think that we should be together.
You're talking about $170 million or so.
What are your plans after you graduate?
Why?
Did you ever think that maybe there's more to life than being really, really, really ridiculously good looking?
Why do I have Super Bowl rings and still think there's something greater out there for me? I mean, maybe a lot of people would say, hey man, this is what it is. I reached my goal, my dream, my life is... Me, I think, God, it's gotta be more than this.
What's the answer?
Wish I knew. Wish I knew.
All these voices, you're like, what do I do? I get letters, and I love the letters I get. I get letters from high school kids all over the country all the time. And they're at the top of the stack, by the way. I'd rather hear from you than anybody. I get letters from adults, whatever. Adrian writes me, she says, when I drink, I do very stupid things. You aren't thinking that alcohol is controlling you, but it is. One time I got drunk at a party and fooled around with two guys. The only thing I know about them is their names. I got a very bad reputation. I got called a slut and no one respected me. So I put my life in danger. I let someone who was high drive me home. All I did this was just to be cool. There's got to be more. The voices, the songs, you're like, what do I do? Kathy says, I never thought I would regret sex so much. One night I was at a party, I got drunk and had sex with someone else or going out with my boyfriend. I feel awful. I'm so scared of disease, yada, yada. Life gets hard. Jason says, I made many respects in my life, including having sex once. Afterwards, I felt very bad and empty inside. I prayed and prayed that God would forgive me for this very, very stupid mistake. I felt whole once again afterward. That is important to me because I know that He is always there for me no matter what, as long as I ask for forgiveness. To me, there's no such thing as safe sex. The only sex is when you're married. Rob says, I've been dating a girl for 5 or 6 months. She was my first real girlfriend. After a few months, I started testing her how far she would let me go. She still let me do whatever I wanted. Well, we went too far, etc., etc. Life is hard. Life is hard. Dear Joe, I got myself in a real mess. It all happened 2 weeks ago when I went over to my best friend's apartment to see how he was doing. When I got there, he asked me if I wanted something to drink. So I said, sure. He bought me a bottle of wine. You know how the story goes. Life gets hard. Now, some of y'all are out there going, you know what? I relate to that. I relate to that. Tom Brady's going, there's got to be more. I've got Super Bowl rings. I'm playing the Super Bowl again next week. There's got to be more. What in the world? Why is life so hard? I grew up. I was a little runt. I was a nerd. I got bullied a lot as a kid. I was very insecure. I got sexually abused when I was a little boy by a strange man. Life got hard early for me. And hurt people, and I, began to fall into all kinds of crazy, wrong stuff, stupid stuff. Life just got really hard as a teenager. Can anybody relate? Guys sometimes have trouble expressing ourselves. And I don't know why this, but, sometimes you don't know how to describe your pain. Sometimes you don't know what to do with your pain. I had some great talks after my last, little talk with you guys, great talks with some really great kids, some very honest kids. And basically we're saying, you know what, people hurt people. People hurt people. And it's like the hammer is whoever it is that's hurting you. And the nail is like the pain you feel. Can anybody else relate to me by chance right now? Raise your hand if you've ever been hurt people, life's been crazy for you. You guys in the front row, you guys get up here. Just take these nails and just hammer them in. I mean, just representing the way some of us feel sometimes. And sometimes you wonder, when you're out there getting hurt, you're hurting people. You go, why do these words come flying out of my mouth when I get mad? Why am I so angry all the time? Why do I take it out on my mom? Why am I so mean to my sister or my brother? Why do I want to take a girl out and I want to hurt her? Or why do I want to hurt a guy? Or why do I want to hurt my friends? Why do I want to gossip? And it all comes, I'm a Christian counselor, and it all comes from places in your heart that are empty. And they're empty because they've been hurt. Because you've been disappointed. And it builds a cavity in your heart. Can anybody relate to me today? It builds a hole in your heart. And guys, sometimes you start trying to fill that hole with porn. And you feel so crazy empty inside, don't you, man? You know what I'm talking about. Or you feel that with hatred. Or you feel it maybe with alcohol, or with pot, or with whatever. Well, if you can relate to hurt, anybody in here, and we're all like, yeah, I can. If you can relate to getting hurt or hurting somebody else or hurting yourself, looking in a mirror on a Saturday morning after a bad Friday night and just going, I really don't like the person I'm looking at right now. I really don't like that person. I wrote a poem for you. I wrote a little poem. And it goes something like this. God took a seed that would succeed. His faithful deed placed in the ground was watered well. No one could tell. Saved us from hell. Love all around. The tree matured. God's Son endured. Diseases cured. His destiny grew tall and straight. Horrific fate. Prophetic fate. That mighty tree. God grew that tree as tall could be so you could see his painful loss. That tree became a place of fame, a place of gain, a Roman cross. To cut that tree a Roman he, for you and me a place of death. God's Son sent there death to declare a world unaware of his last breath. Became a story that came from glory. Incarnate God becoming man. He lived perfection, a God reflection, a resurrection, eternal plan. He came from a manger. He lived in danger, life rearranger, Holy One. We wonder why he lived to die. We can't rely. Our hope begun. He is faithful. He's eternal. He's Messiah. He is true. He was sanctified while being crucified. His only love song was for you. Jesus, the only name. Your love is why he came. You'll never be the same. You believe? The Lion and the Lamb, but God's eternal plan. Your life is in his hand. You receive. He is Savior. He's Creator. Grace for the taker. Can you see? He is living. He's forgiving. He was nailed up to that tree. Will leave you never. He is forever. His great endeavor, a love so true. He is sanctified while being crucified. His only love song was for you. Jesus, the only name. Your love is why he came. You'll never be the same. Do you believe? The Lion and the Lamb and God's eternal plan. Your life is in his hand. Do you receive? He is Savior. He's Creator. Grace for the taker. Can you see? He was living. He was forgiving. He was nailed up to that tree. Will leave you never. His great endeavor, a love so true. He was sanctified while being crucified. His only love song was for you. He is eternal King, eternal peace to bring. That's why we'll always sing his love so true. He was sanctified while being crucified. His only love song was for you. Yeah, he was sanctified, but while being crucified, his only love song was for you. His only love song was for you.
Home to see the dawn of the darkest day. Christ on the road to Calvary, tried by sinful men, torn and beaten dead, nailed to a cross He took the blame, bore the wrath, the weak sent, forgiven at the cross. Oh, to see the pain written on your face, bearing the awesome weight of all my sin, every bitter thought, every evil deed, crowning your blood-stained brow. This the power of the cross. Christ became sin for us. He took the blame, bore the wrath, we stand forgiven at the cross. Now the daylight flees, now the ground beneath waits as its maker bows his head. Curtain torn in two, till raised to life, finish the victory cry. And this the power of the cross. Christ became sin for us. He took the blame, bore the wrath, we stand forgiven at the cross. To see my name written in the wounds, but through your suffering I am free. Death is crushed to death, life is mine to live. Won through your selfless love, and this the power of the cross. Son of God, slain for us. What a love, what a cost. We stand forgiven now. We stand forgiven now. We stand forgiven at the cross.
You ever wonder why God planted that tree? Why he planted a tree that is suddenly dying? You remember what he was thinking when he put that acorn into the ground? And God, Jesus' daddy, started watering that acorn. He started fertilizing it with soil and rain, watching from heaven, knowing as the tree grew up, his son would grow up. Someday a Roman soldier would put the axe into that tree. And he would cut the tree. You wonder why they use nails. Imagine God on a cross. Can you nail God to a tree? You know why I think he used nails? If somebody who without that cross know that I would be nothing, literally nothing. I think he used nails so he could take that for those of y'all who came in here today mad at your mom, mad at your dad, mad at your boyfriend, mad at your girlfriend, mad at your coach, mad at a friend who gossiped about you. I think for those of us in here who struggle with that, we do things that we shouldn't do because we're just so proud. We just think we're so good. I think he did it for that because he knows how bad pride will hurt you. I think for those of you in here who struggle with lust, who struggle with porn. I remember at the University of Alabama and all these big athletes come up there in Tuscaloosa. Hundreds of guys come up to this cross, girls. And the big kid in the front, his name's Ben. And Ben's up there crying so hard, it's unreal. And he goes, Joe, he goes, I'm a leader in my Christian group on the campus. Everybody sees me as a leader because I'm addicted to porn. I'm addicted to my computer, to my iPhone. I'm addicted to sex. I feel so miserable. That night, he put his porn on the cross. I saw him do it. I called that kid 2 years later. I said, Ben, are you still clean? He said, Joe, that night, my lust became a part of the crucifixion of Christ. He goes, I've never gone back again. He goes, I'm completely pure. I think for some of us in here who struggle with different kinds of drugs, different kinds of alcohol, and we know what a trap pot gets you into, what a continual legacy of drugs it leads to, the apathy that it builds, the way it wrecks your lungs and your throat and cancer, just the way it just takes you down a dark road. I think he took that for the cross. I think that's why. And then for those of us who've been seriously hurt, those of us who came in here out of a bad relationship or out of doing porn or out of doing hatred or doing whatever, and feeling shame, feeling guilty, gang, I think that's why they use nails. And I'm going to tell you something. If you can relate to any of these signs up here, I think that's why the blood came. I was at an event, a college event this fall down in Texas, and this beautiful girl comes up to me. She's probably 19, 20 years old, beautiful African-American girl. She comes up, and I'm sitting up here on the stage, the cross behind me, and she buries her head in my chest. And she just weeps and weeps, and then all these students come up to this cross, and they're taking all of their whatever, and they're placing on that cross, and she's crying. And I just hold her in front of all these kids. I just hold her. She has to come backstage with a lot of other students. She comes backstage, and I said, Diane, what is it? And she said, Joe, when I was a little girl, my dad passed me around. He passed me around so that he could get money, using me to get money with other men. And that girl, that day, I took out my little love letter, girls. For those of us in here who've been hurt, I took out my little love letter from Jesus, and I just said, Diane, I said, baby, God made Jesus, who knew no sin. It says in 2 Corinthians 5, he became abused. For those of y'all like me been abused, he became abused. That everything that happened to you, Jesus became there on the cross, so you could become the purity of Christ in him. And I watched y'all, that little girl, like a caterpillar, crawl into a little chrysalis. And inside that chrysalis, I saw that little caterpillar die. I saw that little caterpillar decay into dust. And then that little caterpillar started sprouting wings, just like biology. And I saw little Diane, that little caterpillar. I saw her die on that cross. I saw Diane get crucified with Christ. And then I saw this butterfly. Girls, I saw it emerge in her heart. I watched this butterfly grow in Diane's heart. For those of y'all who've been hurt, maybe you've told lies, maybe you've gossiped, maybe you've whatever. Somebody's done something to you that's been hateful or rude. This butterfly begins to grow out of that chrysalis around her, that little cocoon, and it falls apart. And I saw Diane smile. Dude, probably for the first time in years, I saw Miss Diane smile. Because now the butterfly had come out of that little old caterpillar that had died on that cross that night. And Diane flew in beauty and in purity. And I'm sure today she's flying in that purity. You want to touch that? Do you want that to become a part of you? A young man came up to me and he said, I don't know what to do. The young man's fatherless. And right here on this stage, he asked Jesus to adopt him. He wanted to be a part of that cross. He was tired of looking at that cross. He wanted to be a part of that cross. And he wanted to take all of his hatred for his dad who was never there and whatever else he's been a part of, I have no idea. And he wanted to be a part of that cross. And he began to walk as an adopted child of God, just like the Chiefs and the Cowboys, these other teams that I go into, where guys take Jesus as their dad, and they take his purity and forgiveness, just like Diane did that night. And his walk just began today as a young athlete who was playing for Christ. You want to be a part of that? I just thought of this a while back. We gave you a piece of white paper. Take it out. You want to be a part of that? Take a black pen and put your hand upside down facing up. You want to be a part of that, gang? You want to be a part of that for the rest of your life? Do you want to know the security and love and purity of Jesus yourself? To know who you are? Take your hand and just put it up like this on the paper. And some of y'all who are artistic, you can freehand it. But some of you like me, you may want to trace it. And just trace your hand and your wrist on that piece of paper facing up. And then when you trace it, begin to trace the wrinkles in your fingers. Just begin to remember when you were a little kid, you started getting those wrinkles in your mother's womb. They started developing even then when you weren't even born. Those wrinkles are like your signature. There's none like them in all the world. They're just you. The first time you caught a ball when your daddy or your mom or your coach threw you a pass, the wrinkles began to develop. The first time that you grabbed the bat, you started hitting a baseball, you grabbed a tennis racket, or you grabbed pom-poms and began to dance. That's where those things develop. Your hand is you. It's your signature. It's your life. There's no one like yours. Now, if you want to be a part of the cross, if you want to be a part of Jesus for the rest of your life, for real, no more religion. You want to be your dad. You want to touch him. You want to walk with him. Take a red pen that you've got. Draw a hole in your palm. Not a real clean hole. Draw a gaping hole. Like somebody's just driven a blacksmith spike through it. An ugly hole. Fill it with blood. Red pen, red blood, red hole. And then take your black pen and draw a Roman blacksmith spike and stick it in the hole. Big one. Not a nice little carpenter nail like we live in America, but like a nail that just came out of a blacksmith shop. A big spike. And put it in the middle of your hand. And then, girls, I want you to imagine that that's your son. Because much of his signature will be like your signature. His hand will be a lot like your hand because you'll be his mom. And fellas, someday the little boy will crawl up in your lap and say, Dad, I want to be just like you, Dad, that boy. Make that hand be your son's hand. Then I want you to think about that hand. on a nail on the cross. And what kind of love that must have been. And then I want you to do something really bold, not for anybody else to see. I want you to write in that palm the person that you hated the most. I want you to write in that palm the person in your life who's hurt you the most. I want you high school students and junior high, some of the most honest, noble kids living I've ever met are in middle school. I love middle school kids because you're so real, you're so honest. You don't cover things up. Write down on the fingers, take your time, habits that you've developed, addictions, if you will. Whether it's a need to be noticed, a need to be popular, a need to gossip. A sweet little girl came up to me a minute ago talking about her friends and all were gossiping and hurting each other. You may want to write that on that hand. You may want to write a drug or a porn site on your iPhone or your computer, whatever, that you know when you look at it, it's just ruining your marriage with your wife someday. It's just crucifying your marriage. Write it down. Anything you want. Because in a minute, Nadia's going to sing. And I'm going to invite one honest boy and one honest girl. And it may be 5, and it may be 10, it may be 50, but just one in terms of your hand. I'm going to invite you when you want to walk up to this cross. And in all the sincerity of your heart and the realness of your eternal soul, I want you to take it and stick it on one of those nails. And when you do, say, Jesus, it's yours. I have been crucified with Christ. It's yours. If you'll do that for me, I will do this for you. Here's my life. I dare you to be completely honest with God. And to take whatever it is been dragging you down or just giving you a bad relationship with Jesus. I invite you to crucify today, where he promises when you do that, it's going to be wiped clean. And he's going to give you freedom to walk away from that and to never go back there again for the rest of your life. As the bride of Christ, to walk away clean and pure and dedicated to follow him. Take your time. Nadia's going to sing. Take your time. When you feel like God wants you to come up here and be a part of the cross forever, take your time.
There's nothing worth more that will ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're a living hope. Your presence, Lord. I tasted and seen of the sweetest of loves, when my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. Your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. There's nothing worth more that will ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're living hope. Your presence, Lord. I tasted and see of the sweetest of loves, where my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. Your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Weak and wounded sinner, lost and left to die. Raise your hand for love is passing by. Come to Jesus, come to Jesus, come to Jesus and live. Now your burden's lifted and carried far away. The precious blood has washed away the stain. Sing to Jesus, sing to Jesus, sing to Jesus and live. And like a newborn baby, don't be afraid to crawl. And remember, when we walk, sometimes we fall. So fall on Jesus, fall on Jesus, fall on Jesus and live. Sometimes the way is lonely, it's steep and filled with pain. So if your sky is dark and pours the rain, Inside, dance for Jesus, dance for Jesus, dance for Jesus, and live. With a final heartbeat, kiss the world goodbye. And go in peace and laugh on glory's side. Fly to Jesus, fly to Jesus, fly to Jesus, and Jesus, fly to Jesus, fly to Jesus, and live.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's pray. God, thank you. Thank you so much for who you are. Thank you for what you've taken for us on the cross. Thank you for what you've done for every one of us in this room and across this city and across the community. God, thank you for your touch and being real. We also thank you for the love that you give us for each other. The love that we have the opportunity to show others. We thank you for forgiveness. We thank you for forgiving us all the things that we have done. And God, now help us to forgive those that have done things against us as well. Please help us look to you first and foremost in everything. God, we thank you for our friends. We pray for healing for Noah. We pray that you would touch him in a very real way. We pray for the other families that need your touch and need, God, they need you. And we thank you for allowing us to come together to lift up their names. And God, as I'm silent, we're just